Today, Sunday, the 23rd of February, we see the moon in Capricorn opposing Mars in Cancer. This opposition is extremely powerful today because today Mars is stationing direct. Mars has been in retrograde motion since the end of last year. Mars is the planet connected to the energies of action, form, energy, drive. It represents our actions, our intentions, our ambition, our drives and dreams, and the motivation that we have to turn up, how we direct and use our energy, how and on what we focus, our emotions and movements through life, our intensity, our temperament, and how we express our anger. It's also connected to the energies of power and how we use it. So its movement through retrograde motion has been about taking us within to review our actions, to review our drive, to review how we turn up for ourselves in our everyday lives. Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, the cardinal water sign. Cardinal signs are signs of initiation, starting points, energies that allow us to bring things into being. And water signs are connected to our emotional, intuitive water. Cancer's archetype is the crab, symbolizing its ability to protect itself from its vulnerable insides. Cancer is a very emotional zodiac sign and is connected to our families and our homes. While in retrograde motion, we have been working through these aspects of how we act in our home, how the power dynamics of our home, how we act to protect ourselves, and how we act from our emotions. This retrograde period has allowed us to take time to review those aspects of being and to see how our actions influence our emotions and our emotions influence our action. While in retrograde motion, Mars started in Leo. Leo is the fifth sign of the zodiac, the fixed fire sign. It is all about the actions that are from our core, that we fix into being, and it is very heart-based energy. So while Mars was in retrograde motion in the energy of Leo, it was asking us to look at how our actions are influenced by our heart, how we act courageously, and which actions are fixed in our being that need to be reevaluated and brought to the surface. So this movement of Mars through these two zodiac signs while in retrograde motion really allowed us to look at our heart-based actions, look at how we are turning up and acting, and how these actions initiate our emotional self, how they influence others around us, and how we can bring things to the surface to be reviewed and changed. So this opposition of our active self, our ability to be accountable and move forward, with the moon, our inner self, is asking us to create a bridge between the lessons we have learned while in retrograde motion and how we're acting for our inner self. The moon, our inner self, our emotional self, our intuitive self, is our ability to see our self as our whole, the self that only we see and know, our true self, how we work through the different phases of being, just as the moon works through its different phases of the moon. Capricorn is the 10th sign of the zodiac and the cardinal earth sign. So it's all about initiating things into being, bringing things into movement, those steps that we take to allow us to achieve our goals. This inner perspective of what our goals are and the actions that we can take, and allowing us to see if we're acting for ourselves. Are we acting on our emotions, or are we acting on ourself in wholeness? Oppositions are when the energies come from either side of us, from where we stand on earth, and create this confrontation of energies, this butting of heads of energies, allowing us to be the bridge between these two planetary bodies. Allowing us to see how our actions from our inner self reflect in the actions that we put out in the inner world, the actions that influence those around us, influence our emotional self, and really asking us to ground this direct energy, this energy of Mars now moving in direct motion, to ground it in our actions, to ground it in our emotional selves, to ground it in our homes, and really giving us this power to turn up for ourselves today, to see how we are in charge of our actions and how our actions influence and affect not only ourselves but those around us. We also see this moon in Capricorn creating a square aspect with our other personal planet, Venus, in Pisces. Square aspects are aspects of challenge and tension. We have been working through the square aspects with the planets this week as we have been moving through this waning cycle of the moon. And they allow us to see things from new perspectives in order to make a decision and move forward. Again, working with this Pisces energy, the final sign of the zodiac, the 12th sign of the zodiac, the mutable water sign, all about changing our emotional waters, going with the flow of things, finding that balance, and allowing us to wrap up cycles ready to renew. This is the third square with Pisces energy that we've been working through this week. So really coming to this energy of closure. Venus is the planet of unconditional love and values. It represents our emotions in all their forms, including the relationship that represents the relationships in all its forms, including the relationship we hold with ourselves, the ways that we give love, the ways that we receive love, and the values that we hold, and how we treat ourselves and others from those values that we hold within. So Venus in Pisces is really about working through these energies to allow us to find this flow in our being, the flow that is loving, seeing how our relationships balance us, how our relationships influence us, and enabling us to give this energy of closure to those relationships, those actions, those conditions that we hold on love that need to come to an end before we move into new cycles. This square asking us to look at how we value and give love, and to see if those things are working. Are they working for ourselves? Are they working from a place that is within ourselves, or are they the conditions of those around us? Are we taking actions from a place of love, from a place of balance, from a place that flows within ourselves? Or are we taking actions that are based on those conditions that we may hold, those conditions that may need to be released. So this beautiful square aspect is really looking at where we give love and where we act from love. So these two aspects together, these connection of our two personal planets, two of our three personal planets, is really asking us to look at the actions that we take and to see if they are in alignment with our emotional selves. Are we acting in alignment with our emotions? Are we acting too emotionally? Do we need to bring and ground those emotions into our inner being and into the way that we are turning up? And do we need to give more love and acceptance to the things that we are encountering and moving through? Two very beautiful aspects to end our week. Sunday, this liminal time of endings and beginnings, really asking us to wrap up the cycles we have been working through as we move into this new direct energy of action. Mars stationing direct is really going to shift things into movement and allow us to work through the things that we have been reviewing, the things that we have been looking at. Mars retrogrades the least out of the personal planets, so this retrograde in this direct motion is really going to influence our actions on a more personal level and how we are turning up, allowing us to see how our inner hard work has guided us to take the actions that are in alignment with our being, with our home, with the things that we need, and allowing us to give love to the situation to enable us to create this bridge between our inner being and our outer actions, enabling us to turn a corner in how we give love, how we receive love, and the things that we value, enabling us to act towards the things that we value and in alignment with our inner self.